Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how I lit up this interior scene using Blender sun sky texture. So jumping in the scene right away, I'm just going to start adding in the camera, the view that we're going to use. So I'm going to go around, play around with the rotation and positioning. And what I like to do is just start with the basic 0, 0, 90 off everything. So it's just, I know I have all straight lines. And then I'll go into top view. And I know this is going to be perspective with the chair in the center of the frame. So I'm just going to do rotate until I see it being enough. And I do want to zoom out quite a bit. I don't want a 50 mil. So I want something wider at 28. And I'm just going to continue adjust, bring the camera up. I usually mess around with the shift Y too. And I'll just make a few final adjustments before I think it's ready. So we just have enough the top of the skylight, and then we have the cabinet on the left and right side, and then we have the curtain in the background. And I do want to add in depth of field, and the way I like to do it is add in an empty and just rename this as focus. And I'll just add that to what I want it to focus on with that camera. And it's just like an easy way for me to understand what the focus is at. Next step is to add in lighting, because right now it's just dark. So I'll go into the world settings and I will find the sky texture and I'll connect it to the background. And right away it's like pretty nice lighting. Like the long shadows look really good, the long beams of light coming through. But I know I want to adjust this to have even softer shadows. I like to do like 1.5, even 2 for the sun size. And then I'm going to go into the sun rotation, get it to a good spot. I want it to shine in the back left cabinets while also hitting the chair slightly. I also want to make sure that the sun rays are also going through the whole scene, so it doesn't stop short on the lower left corner. So 22 is a good sun elevation for this scene. Then I do want to reduce the sun intensity because it's quite a bit, but I will increase the background strength to make it just more of an overall glow in the corners and fill in the corners with light. And air, I'm just going to bump it up to 2 just for like a slightly warmer environment. And then the other 2 I'm just going to leave at 1. And I'm going to add in an aerial light for the skylight. And this will just be like a big spotlight to shine and fill the chair with light from above. I'll change the shape to ellipse and I'll just boost up the power to see what we're working with. And I had to bring down the light to actually see the light. So I actually reduced the power back down quite a bit. But first I do want to decrease the spread and have it really just focused on the Chaise lounger. I'll increase the size to make the edges more soft. And then I'll just fine tune the power, and 30 is pretty good, although I might want to boost it up a little bit. But I also want to change the temperature to something a little warmer, the 4500K. And I'll just increase the spread a little bit to be a little wider, and then I'll also increase the power. Now it's looking like there's a good amount of like, centering our attention onto the Chaise. And if I turn off the aerial light, you can see just with the sun again, and then I can also turn off the sky texture to see how the spotlight is affecting the scene. Next, to continue and add on to this very atmospheric feeling, I do like to use the Lens Sim add-on. And this just helps get me a little more glow, a little more bloom in around edges and also in the corners of the image. So I'll just find a similar lens length to 28 mil. So I'll use this Ricoh 28 mil. And since we already have a focus object on there, it's going to use that same empty that we already had. But I do need to boost up to an f-stop of 16 so the whole scene is in focus. And then down below, I don't add in a lot of it, but I do like to do like 0.1, 0.13 bloom and glare amount. And now I'm ready to render out the final image. And for the compositor, I like to add in a little bit back of the noise. So I'll do like 0.1, mix that in. And the second note is just about adding a little more ambient occlusion. And then the third is what I just kind of copy paste in every project. It's the first one is just adding in glare. And then the second glare I use for any streaks. And right now the effect is pretty intense, but sometimes maybe you want that. But I'll just increase the threshold to 7 or maybe 8. And also just decrease the fade to 0.93. And then RGB just to increase the brightness a little bit. And then I also use these mixed color nodes, one for temperature, one for tint. And then after taking it into Photoshop, doing some tone mapping and changing some color balance around, these are the final results.